I was 162.8 pounds this morning. Um, I definitely have been overeating because of the lack of exercise. I've not been able to get my steps in, or I tried to go to the gym yesterday to go on the treadmill, and the power was out, and so I was just like, well, fuck. I went for a little walk around the station, but that was all I could do. But yeah. My waist though, I want to measure, because I measured before I left for the conference, and I actually went down a size. And then when I was wearing my pants, I was like, oh wow, I really did. Like, they're baggy on me. So a couple things to know about that last clip. That was Sunday morning, and on Saturday I had roughly 2,100 calories, which was about the same that I had burned that day. And the day before, I had eaten roughly 3,000 and burned about the same, 2,200. It has been kind of difficult getting my steps in the past few days because there was a blizzard, and so I couldn't walk on the trails near my place. And when I went to the gym to go for a run on the treadmill, the power was out, so I couldn't even get in or use the treadmill if I wanted to. And I use that as you hear me use that as an excuse in the video. But so I could have done more. I was being lazy, and I was rationalizing and making excuses for myself, which is funny hearing myself say that stuff in the clip, because today, Monday morning, after fasting and doing something that I thought that I couldn't do, but just kind of persevering, like, all right, it's another hour, I'll wait a little bit longer. Oh, I'm tired, I could go to bed now and just see how I feel tomorrow morning. And it's just interesting. Like, I'm completely in a different mindset than I was Sunday morning, than I was Saturday, Friday, when I was eating. I want to do more. I did go for a run yesterday, and so I did get my steps in, my 10K steps, and that was good. I enjoyed that. It was difficult though, because then I was like, oh, well, I went for a run, I could eat. I should eat, saying that stuff to myself, and it's like, well, I can go without eating. Like, it's not that big of a deal. And so this next clip that you're going to see, this is how I woke up today. So Monday morning, and this is after a 24-hour fast, and I included it because I thought it was interesting, the differences just between like mental and physical. And I don't know exactly what I'm going to include in this video, if I'm going to keep building on my experiences today. I'm unfortunately going to break my fast. I really want to push it, but I set up a lunch meeting, doing some networking today, and I don't want to just sit there and be like, oh, I'm fasting, which I totally could, but it's also free food. I could always start over again, and I think that I don't want to take away from my experience. Fasting is there to improve and benefit my life, not take away from it. And so I'm going to break my fast with this lunch. And I actually have a wedding reception party that I'm going to tonight, and there's a chip bar that I'm super excited about. I'm going to be honest, I'm going to be just at the chip bar smashing the guacamole. and that's got calories in it. So um, maybe I'll fast tomorrow. Who knows? But I also have food that I need to eat because it's about to go bad, and I don't want to waste it. However, am I making excuses? Am I rationalizing? Maybe. Could I let that food go to waste? Yes. Do I want to? No, because I can always fast later, and then I can. It actually would save me gas and save me money because then I'm pushing my grocery store run further and further out. I also, with the snow that's going to start melting, it's going to be a lot warmer outside, and my cold items I do need to eat, or I will have to throw those out. But yeah, I'm just super excited that I was able to fast for 24 hours. Now I know I'm capable of doing it, and it's cool to kind of push that further and further out because it will be roughly 36. I mean, I don't know when the last time I had eaten, and then it's like, depending on what I ate, how much I ate, how long is that going to stay in my system. But I did go a full day, you know, morning to the next morning without eating, and I'm still fasted. I've had coffee, so I'm a little. I also worked out, but yeah, that's what I have today. First successful 24-hour fast. Still haven't had anything to eat or drink this morning. So I kind of just continue to blab on in the rest of that video, so I cut it short. But I weighed in at 158 pounds, which is my lowest during this cut. Now, that is because I fasted. And I had a bunch of excess food and stuff that I had eaten, mostly carbs, so probably a lot of water retention. And I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about my experience through the 24-hour fast. I woke up in the morning and I already knew that I wanted to fast. I kind of had what I've usually done in the past is I just fast until noon or kind of lunchtime, and I'll intermittent fast. We do that every day. But I wanted to push it until dinner. Really, my goal is 24 hours, but I had this preconceived notion that I wasn't going to make it and that I was going to eat dinner. And it was funny, I was already tested in the morning. I had to go, I don't remember what I did, but I ended up going over to my neighbor's to pick I picked up a piece of mail, and they were like, do you want sourdough pancakes, bacon, and eggs? And I was like, that sounds amazing. Yes. But instead, I said, I'm fasting today. And they were like, oh, okay, well, sorry, basically. Anyways, that doesn't really matter. But I was already tested and I already set that boundary for myself. And so the rest of the day, I was like, if I can say no to eggs, bacon, and sourdough pancakes, I could say no to a lot. And throughout the day, it was definitely easy for me because to make it to noon and a little bit past noon, like 3 o'clock, because I already kind of do that each day. And so it was just like another day. 3 o'clock is definitely pushing it for me as far as intermittent fasting goes. So I went for a run around that time. Snow is falling. Anyways, I think I ended up finishing my run around 3, and that's when I was struggling with the thoughts of, well, I've burned calories. I can eat, and a lot of the times I'm like, oh, I've burned more calories than I meant to today, so I can eat a little bit more. And yes, I would still definitely be in a deficit and be in that deficit range that I want to be in, which is roughly 800 to 1,000 calories if I'm really trying to lose weight quick. That being said, it's difficult. Some days it works for me, some days it doesn't, because then the next day I'm trying to do more so I can eat more. And setting a boundary of, no, this is the amount of calories that I'm eating, this is the amount of food I'm eating, and just sticking to that. And so through my fast, it was like I'm sticking to not eating. And after 3 o'clock, when it's dinner time, and I was filling my time with reading. I was doing I read a lot, and I journaled a lot, and I prayed a lot, building my relationship with God, because I needed strength. I needed help to get through the fast, and who better to ask than a higher power? So, yeah, filling my time with that and just remembering it's okay to be hungry. One thing I realized is, because I don't have a lot of space in here. I have my bed, and I have a counter, a small counter. I don't have a chair. And I was kind of moving around a little bit. And at one point, I was standing by the counter, which is basically around a bunch of food. You can kind of see I have like food up there on the shelf. That's where the counter is. And I was like, this is difficult. Like, this is being in this space, just view of like the food, and this is knowing this is where I cook and this is where I eat. I was I was struggling with thoughts of, I'll eat when it gets dark out. I'll have just a couple eggs just to hold me over. And so I don't go to bed hungry, because it's difficult for me to sleep when I'm hungry. And yes, that's true. But my experience has only been through being in a calorie deficit and going to bed hungry. Never a full fast. And so last night, because I made it through the fast and I went to bed fasted, I woke up at one point and I read the Bible. I knew I couldn't sleep. I was hungry. I was a little anxious. It was also very cold. And so I picked up the Bible, got a light, and read until I felt tired enough, put it down, and went back to sleep. I didn't get on my phone, which I usually don't. And I have my watch to tell me what time it is. And it was 2 in the morning. And I don't know, I didn't look at my watch again to see when I was going back to bed. I didn't want to, because I don't know, it can be bright sometimes when I turn it on at night, and I'm like, whoa. I'm getting a little off. I do want to go back and just talk a little bit more about dinner and what got me through that. I was drinking chicken broth, not bone broth, chicken broth. And that definitely helped me get over that edge. I was drinking sparkling water, which helped. And then, because I'm not a pure purist when it comes to fasting. I'm not just like only drink water or no water, no food. I had a little bit of ginger. I mean, it's like barely any calories. Like, I probably had, for the entire day, I think I had 50 calories, if that includes coffee, the chicken broth, and ginger. And to me, that's a fast. Like, being able to just not eat a meal, not eat a snack, not eat really a hard food. And I know one of my friends, he still has protein powder when he fasts, and it's really just being under 500 calories for him. And I almost did that. I thought about doing that, but I didn't think I needed it. Now, if there's a day where I'm fasting and I'm like really struggling, yeah, maybe I'll have some protein powder just to help get me over that edge. But, I had set a time for myself. I was like, when it gets dark, then I'll eat. It got dark. And I was like, okay, well, it needs to be darker. I want it to be pitch black, and then I'll eat. And then I looked at the time, and I'm like, oh, it's almost 8 o'clock. I'm pretty tired. I'm just going to go to bed. And I did. And I made it 24 hours, which is it. I say it, I'm going to keep saying it because it is unbelievable. And it's so silly. Like, why is it so unbelievable that I am capable of doing something so simple? A fast is don't eat. Why is that so difficult? Because I've gone my entire life with eating. Yes, I've skipped meals. Yes, I've, felt hungry, felt cravings. And like the hunger that I'm feeling now, it's not that bad. I don't really feel hungry. I think I'm just getting used to it, and it isn't that difficult yet. Or it's getting past the 24-hour period, which is the most difficult for most people. Anyways, I feel like I'm rambling on, and I keep saying anyways. So I'm gonna end it there. But that was my experience and how I got through the fast. Chicken broth, sparkling water, coffee, little bits of ginger, and God. Prayer and meditation. Reading, journaling. Not being in a space where I normally am around food. So where I cook and eat, removing myself from that area, being in bed and reading. Sitting, I have a box that I sit on occasionally, sitting there. It's very uncomfortable, so I don't do it very long, but I was there for a little bit reading and trying to be active and fill my time. Not a crazy amount, but just a little bit.